is where MAGA comes to talk. And man, oh man, it got all laid out yesterday. Trump, Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, Tulsi Gabbard have Obama and all of his co-conspirators in his coup conspiracy against the 45th and 47th President of the United States. It's all there. And when I go live in about an hour on the next stream, I'm going to detail it with a timeline that just dropped that shows what they did and how they did it. And this is very exciting. All the crimes began in that Obama coup meeting that he had after President Trump won his first election. And there is going to be justice here. This is huge. When I go through the timeline on the show, I'm going to do it early on in the beginning. And I'm going to go through it probably once an hour because it's so important. It's all coming together. All coming together. And it took the media a day or two to get into the story. But yesterday, it was being covered everywhere. Welcome. If you're new, my name is Brian. This is where MAG comes to talk. Welcome. Make sure you subscribe. It really shows how this whole coup shows how sick and petty Barack Obama is. I think Obama did it, really. He may not even be self-aware enough to put his finger on it, but I think he's so pissed at Trump over the birth certificate. Remember, Trump got him to produce that document that he said was his birth certificate in that press conference, and I think Obama was so pissed at Donald Trump over the birth certificate, he never got over it, and I think it all stems from that person with Obama. Now, the rest of the deep state conspirators, that's different. Those are just power-hungry deep staters that can't handle being out of control and out of power. I can't wait to go through the timeline with you guys. It's great. Oh, man. You know, none of this would have happened. We would never have known about any of this. There wouldn't be justice if President Trump didn't have 2 non-consecutive terms. If he would have had consecutive terms, this would not be coming out right now. And one of the reasons that Obama's in trouble is because he's far enough removed from being in office now. People don't care so much about him. So that's what I'm leading with today. We're going to go through it and talk about it and take your calls, of course. And oh, it's very exciting indeed. Oh, Nixon was jaywalking compared to what Obama was doing. And the presidential immunity, we know that's not in play here because they arrested Trump multiple times. No, we don't have basements in Florida. No basements in Florida. Nope. Oh my goodness. They got to get a Florida talking point, the trolls on that. Exactly. This is one of the best periods we'll ever experience politically. It may be the best. It really, truly is. I mean, there's real, true justice coming. We've got the greatest president ever back in the White House. The border is shut down with the illegal trafficking. The deportations are at a high. It's just all good stuff, right? Just all good stuff. Doesn't get better than this. Doesn't get better than this. You know, we've never had a Republican president who did. We haven't had a president. We haven't had a president, period, that's done much of anything except Donald Trump. And he put together this perfect cabinet. And Tulsi Gabbard released thousands of documents yesterday. I mean, this is just beautiful. And there's more coming. And they have whistleblowers coming forward, too, about the coup against President Trump. So they got witnesses. They got whistleblowers. Mike Johnson's even talking about bringing Obama in for questioning. I know. It's like Christmas with what's going on here. Absolutely. Australia, welcome. Welcome, welcome. Absolutely, yeah. So I'm excited. I'm just very energized. Very energized, very excited. Justice is done, being done, in process. Trump's in the White House. America's back. Doesn't get better than that. It really doesn't. Nope. I don't know who's hating, Conrad. Well, I don't know what hate you're talking about. You even know what the word means? It is 5:09 a.m. here on the East Coast. But I've been up for hours. And I'll have a new podcast episode this afternoon as well with live calls. You know, I've reformatted my podcast about 3 weeks ago now. So I podcast live here on YouTube and take live calls in the afternoon. And if you watch on YouTube, you get the podcast live. And then I upload that to all the podcast platforms. But, yeah. You know, when the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, is talking about bringing Obama in for questioning, that's it. That's some hardcore stuff. I mean, these guys are just crooks. Just crooks. You know, what they did that began it is after Trump won, all the intelligence reports from all the intelligence agencies said that Russia had no role, no interference. They didn't have the capability to do it in 2016 with the election. And then Obama had this meeting in the Oval Office with the heads of the intelligence agency and had them make a false, counterfeit, lying intelligence analysis saying Russia did. And then they leaked it to the media and and some other things I want to go through. And that led to everything, including the impeachments. And that's a fact. That is a fact. This truck just pulled up next to me. It's a truck filled with bagels. They're dropping bagels off at the deli. Oh, yeah. And I'll go through the details and the timeline on the program today. Flynn said yesterday that he thinks Pence might have been involved from the beginning. What do you guys think about that? You know, he may have been. I've suspected that Pence was the leaker. I really have. Haven't you suspected that for a long time from the first Trump administration? Mm-hmm. Yeah, make sure you subscribe if you're new to my channel. This is most definitely where MAGA comes to talk. On the next stream, which will be in less than an hour, I'll be in the studio. I'm just waiting for the coffee shop to open. And I take live calls. So you'll be able to call me on the stream, on the air, and talk about it, whether you agree or disagree. Although this is all documented. I mean, this is not opinion. This is factual information that has been documented by Obama and his co-conspirators. And Tulsi Gabbard just turned over these documents that they themselves put together and signed to the Attorney General and to Kash Patel, the director of the FBI. That's it. That's the reality. And we got him. We got him. Yeah, I'm very curious as to who pushed Pence to Trump to be his running mate, because I thought that was an odd choice at the time. You know, like JD makes sense because, you know, Ohio's so important. You got to win Ohio to win. But Pence, I've always wondered how that happened. And he's such a sleaze. His own wife doesn't even trust him, right? He can't be alone with a woman without a chaperone. What does that tell you? That's right. The man's own wife doesn't trust him. Kamala 2028 for what? What's in 2028 for Kamala? AA? Winos Anonymous? No, there will be justice in this case. It's growing. It's getting bigger, and Trump wants to settle this so these people aren't harassing him for the rest of his life. That's it. No getting around it. Box wine Harris, exactly. I've never had box wine. Does box wine have a wacky taste to it? I don't know. I'm not a big wine drinker. Why do you need a third party? Even Elon's given up on that. Don't need a third party. We got exactly what we need. Our MAGA Republican Party, led by the Trump family. Yep. Oh, yeah. Yeah. They made a mistake. I mean, and all of their arrogance, Comey, Clapper, Brennan, Obama, and all the rest, they documented everything they were doing on top of it. That's what's crazy. These documents that Tulsi handed over are like their own documents. Hillary would be better than Kamala because Hillary would do nothing. All Hillary would do is go around and give speeches about being the first woman, whatever she's got. She wouldn't have time other than celebrating to being the first woman to do something, to do as much damage as Kamala. But they do have a common bond, their alcoholism, right? Kamala and Hillary. Boy, that guy in the box truck of bagels is flying out of here. I guess he's got a lot of delis to go to. Oh, this is beautiful. And Tulsi, Tulsi Gabbard, she's been working on this for months. She's very well organized. And Trump, one of the reasons he picks so many people from television, from Fox, is because they're good on TV so that they can present what they're doing to people on television, online. And it's very effective. Well, welcome everyone. Again, make sure you subscribe if you're new to my channel. My name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. It's the car shutting off. Everything stays on for a little while, and then it shuts itself off. No, I don't live Taekwondo. I do not live in an echo chamber. That's why I take live calls. So on my next stream, which will be in about 45 minutes, You can call me live. The toll-free number will be in the live chat on that stream. And you can call me out on the carpet on the program. No, I don't live in an egg. I'm open to take disagreeing phone calls. Yep. Do it every day. So, no, it's not an echo chamber. Now, of course, the cult of the Never Trumpers, have some problems, but, hey, that's okay. We'll educate them. This is so big. This is the biggest political scandal in the history of the United States. And everything can be proven in a court of law because it's documented. This is nothing. Don't let anybody talk about Watergate was nothing. A big nothing. The Never Trumpers are still out there. Yeah, they're never far, the Never Trumpers. They're mental patients. Yeah, let them mention Epstein every other word. It makes them feel good. They're obsessed with it. The reason all this Epstein stuff came out recently is as a distraction from what Tulsi Gabbard's done here. Now we know why it all came out. I was wondering why all this Epstein thing came about out of the blue, and now we know. As a distraction from the Obama coup. Because they all knew this was coming. And that's what happened. But no, I will not be talking about Epstein on the air. If you call me about Epstein, you're gone. That's just a distraction. It's just a distraction from what's really going on. Make sure you subscribe. Although I do have one clip about Epstein I am going to play in the air. I played on my podcast last night. That because I talk about the news. I don't talk about stuff from years ago. I do have one clip about Epstein that I'm going to play that references President Trump. You Never Trumpers aren't going to like it, but I'm going to play it. And it's a liberal jerk too. But I'll play it. Oh, it is a distraction. The Brennans and the Comeys have known this story was coming. Obama knew for a while, for weeks, and they're in a panic. And so they dropped this Epstein story as a distraction. It gives them something to go to. I told you guys this yesterday, right at the beginning. I said the liberal response to this coup, no matter what you say, will be Epstein, Epstein, Epstein. That's going to be their response, which is pathetic. You can try that on somebody else. Not going to work. And this conspiracy, this coup against President Trump has been ongoing. It never stopped. Butler was a part of it. Charlie Kirk made an interesting point about Butler to Tucker yesterday. I want to share that too. No, there's no Obama derangement. Believe me, I take no pleasure in talking or referencing Obama, except now, because justice is coming. Yeah. No, this, you have a president of the United States who organizes an illegal coup against the next president, and it goes on for years, leads to impeachments and such. That's insane. That's a big story. The biggest. Well, the thing with Obama, he never left Washington. He kept a house in Washington. He doesn't just live in that mansion on the ocean. He's got a house in Washington. He's the only president in our lifetimes that has stayed in Washington after they left office. Woodrow Wilson did, but that was because he was sick. He had a massive stroke his last year in office, and he stayed in D.C. after he passed. But he was from Virginia, which was, right down the street. But Obama stayed in Washington after he left office, and this is why. The coup. And it's very obvious. And when I heard Mike Johnson talk about bringing Obama in for questioning, that is awesome. I cannot wait for that. Well, Brennan's insane, just like Comey. They're crazy people. They're criminally insane. and arrogant, criminally insane and arrogant. So, you know, so expect to see them do interviews and laugh and act like nothing to see here. Believe me, they are in a panic off the air. That's just the public face. Yeah, I'll talk a little bit about Colbert today. You know, saying F you. I mean, you know, when, you know, Colbert, you know, I'm just what I want to talk about with that today. If he were smart, what he would do is, we're going to make this show the best. We're going to get the ratings up and make it the best so we don't get canceled next year. But instead, he goes out there and says, F you. No, I would prove them wrong if I were him. But he doesn't have it because he is a mediocre talent and an angry, entitled liberal who can't accept responsibility for the failure of his program, losing $40 million a year. Come on. That's crazy. Yes, I'm in dark MAGA mode. Subscribe if you're new to my channel. Make sure you like the video as well. Do not miss the next stream. I'll be taking live calls from the studio about all this. Yeah, we'll talk about Hunter too. Hunter telling people how to make crack. I mean, what an insane interview that was. Do you, yes or no, do you think Hunter was high during that interview? He seemed high to me. You know, when people are hardcore addicts like that, they think they're clean when they're doing certain drugs. Like if they're still smoking weed or snorting cocaine, they consider themselves clean still. Yeah, he looked like he was high yesterday. Absolutely. Yeah, he's got problems. No, Hunter gave a unhinged interview that made the news yesterday. That's why people are talking about it. He's never been sober. Yeah. He certainly was not sober during that interview. Yep. All right, guys, listen, I got to go get my coffee, but make sure you subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you on the next stream in about 20, 30 minutes. Take care.